Hello, 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 everyone. My second live stream for today. So we're going to get right into it, but still come in, hit that like and share button, say hello, drop your city and or state. Let me know where you are tuning in from, what area you're tuning in from. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel and support the channel by hitting the thumbs up as you come in. Or if you're watching it on the replay, also hit the thumbs up. YouTube loves the algorithm. I have a, a deep, I think, a revealing subject to cover, and it is my goal and intention to do that in under 1 hour. So you all come in, hit that like and share button. Just finished watching the NFL games. Just finished watching the NFL games, and I noticed this. Right, hello Tony, tuning in from Texas. The NFL, and I broke this down even when it was the NBA playoffs, where you had the Milwaukee Bucks in the NBA playoffs and against the Phoenix Suns. And at that time, I really expected the Phoenix Suns to win and win the championship as a whole. Because if you know anything about cryptocurrency and XRP, it is known as the Phoenix and the Sun, right? Is the highest, I think, spiritual energy that people can be exposed to on this earth of a natural energy. The outer layer of the sun is known as corona, its outer layer. And so I really expected the Phoenix Suns, but the NBA showed us or predicted that the buck, or also known, you tell someone give you a buck, is also known as the dollar, was still had some life. It was not yet time to crash out the dollar. But in today's NFL losses, when looking at the Bucks, the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm sorry, not the Milwaukee Bucks, um, but the Buffalo Bills and the Bucks, Tampa Bay Bucks that lost today. In my humble spiritual insight, I believe that is definitely the the prediction, because you, through sports, right? The elite gives you the plan through sports. I know a lot of people just look at sports as entertainment. A lot of men look at sports as this is my favorite team. Nothing wrong with that. Women alike, I watch football and sports as well. Women alike, but there's a bigger picture of what sports is showing you, and what specifically was going to happen in this economic system. So you have the Bucks and the Bills, right? Known as a buck or a bill. Both are known in the finance world as dollars. So that's a representation of fiat currency with those two losses today. So definitely, in my spiritual insight opinion, letting you know that there will be a transition, more of a transition into a digital dollar and a Fed coin, which will then propel the entire crypto world to be more of stability and stable. It would give it that affirmation, right? So as I have 11 people in right now, I want you all to hit the thumbs up. Let's invite some more people in the room so they can get this vital information, so they can prepare and plan for their financial future. This is the biggest wealth transfer that this generation will ever see, will ever experience. And you definitely now more than ever need to be prepared. So I'm not coming to you as a sports fan. I'm coming to you as a person that's showing you how sports is predicting this economic reset, or what is also known as the Great Reset. A Howe says she gets the book stop here. I guess the Bucks does stop here, and the bill, right? And the bill, right? And so the Bucks and the bill stop here. Also, I want you all to also be aware that Kansas City Chiefs win. Why the Chiefs? when, and then the 49ers, right? When we look at the 49ers, economically, you should think of the 49, the gold rush of the 49ers, right? Gold will be used to reset this currency system, right? Gold will be used to reset the currency system. So I'm going to break down this gold and the resetting of the currency system. I'm going to use the Wizard of Oz to teach that tonight. So again, you all come in, hit that like and hit share. This is for serious people. This is for people that want to live better financial. This is for intelligent people, right? Intelligent people that's able to dissect what's going on and see the bigger picture of this economy, because people, this is going to be the greatest wealth transfer ever experienced, which means there's going to be some people, it's the easiest times now more than ever for people to get rich, but it's also will be a transfer of wealth, which means it's also the easiest time for people to then to now be poor, right? Um, Thank you so much. BFM3 says, yep, I'm all over this. Thank you so much. I really appreciate those comments. So you all come in and hashtag 1111. Let's get some positive energy in the room. Put that in the comments. If you are on the live stream, put the hashtag 111, just three ones in, and let's get some positive energy into the room. So let's get started. Let's get right into this. The IMF, this is why the Chiefs won, right? This is why the Chiefs won. And that was an exciting game, right? But the IMF chief, and she is known as the chief, warns the world economy faces an obstacle course this year. So the global chief, or the IMF, the International Monetary Fund, is referring to the world. This will be a global currency system reset. So she's referenced, and she's known as the chief. So she's referencing the pandemic, the inflation, the rising U.S. rates, and China's, people, you cannot forget this, economy is slowing as well. China's slowing economic system. Now, you all should know, you must know, that the United States is not producers of anything anymore, right? When President Nixon removed the dollar from the gold standard, then the United States then became more of an exporting um, nation or country versus, well, became more dependent on imports coming in, is what I'm trying to say. Imports coming in versus us, United States as a whole, exporting many goods and services out. So this change then immediately made the dollar, the fiat currency, the bill, the buck, become dead. That's what a lot of people don't know. Meaning it was not backed by anything but the labor of the United States workers, the blue collar workers, right? And as well as business owners or small business people, right? This is where the Wizard of Oz come in. This is how the Wizard of Oz breaks this down and explains this. And so, again, I will tie this into the Wizard of Oz as well. So now you have those people with jobs that became um, the they they became now a corporation and not citizens, not peoples, not persons. Your birth certificate with your name in all caps, all the bills that you receive with your name in all caps, your social security card that have the red numbers on the back, right, is verification that legally, in order to satisfy its debts with the Fed, the government and Fed is not the same entity, right? That people had to become corporation, and some and to a slave system for the government. That's why you're taxed the highest, which is your biggest expense out of your paycheck from your labor, right? Now, there's other also, concepts of what the dollar became backed by as other countries were, forced to still accept the dollar. But Russia and China stopped that a long time ago. So the World Economic Forum, and what I mean by that, Russia and China now no longer trade their oil for the US dollar. I don't know if people are aware of that. So the World Economic Forum trumps the Federal Reserve. The World Economic Forum is in charge of this global financial system globally, right? And again, the IMF is she's not considered a president. She's called a chief. So this is why the Kansas City Chiefs won today. And again, the Bills and the Bucks are out of it, showing the crashing of the dollar. Now, you might be asking me, Queen, well, what does the Rams have to do with this? Why the Los Angeles Rams? You said the 49ers is a representation that gold will be used to reset this currency system, the 49ers gold rush. Well, the Tampa Bay Bucks, let me find that article for you. Not Tampa Bay Bucks, but the Los Angeles Rams, right? The LA Rams is a representation of dead money as well. The Rams, they said, have the fourth most dead cap for money in 2021. Also, the Rams represents financial issues, as the Rams had to pay. Let me see. As they transition, let me see exactly how much money that was to Los Angeles from St. Louis. They had to pay a large amount of money for that relocation, right? So the Rams was in financial troubles. They had to pay St. Louis people $790 million over their relocation lawsuit last year in 2021. Also, the Rams is a representation of dead money as well, according to their market cap. But the whole symbolism of the Rams, again, is more so about financial trouble. And the key word from St. Louis to Los Angeles is relocation. So a relocation and a transfer of wealth is happening right in front of your eyes. For some people, it may look like it's hidden in plain sight. For others, the writing's on the wall. They're taking the vision and they're running with it. So the Rams had the most dead cap money for 2021 as well. And for their 2021 salary cap, the Rams end up paying $24.7 million dead cap. Also, another thing I want to bring out about the 49ers is that the kicker, that number 9, this is where we're going to talk about the 1999 Matrix, but the kicker name is also Gold, who kicked the winning field goal for the 49ers to win the game against the Packers. Right? So at this point, based off of the economy, even though I love the Rams, right? I have no issues with them. But the Rams is a representation too of a transfer to Los Angeles to California, which California economic system is financially dead in a sense as well, because the gas prices are so high and the taxes are so high, and people are leaving California and New York by the droves because they cannot afford it. They cannot afford to live there anymore. And you have New York and California that also represents in Gematria the 111 code. Let me see if I can pull that up for you. So what does that mean, that represents the 111 code? Well, it means that these primary cities and states rather will be the hub of this new technology system. As California also is the 711 code, as well, and New York is exactly 1111 in the spelling of that name. So let me show you that, and then we're going to get into the Matrix and the Wizard of Oz, right? Because that's going to take some time to break down. Get a sip of that water. And again, you all come in, hit that like button. I really got into the topic really, really early because I wanted to go ahead and get into the deep teaching that I want to show you all that's revealed and why you all need to prepare financially. So if you're coming in right now or you're watching this on the replay, again, make sure you are subscribed to the channel and you hit the thumbs up. So in the reverse ordinal, California and Gematria is 11, and the reverse full reduction is 11. And the English ordinal is 88. Number 88 is representation of, or the 8 is a representation of the breaking down of the old to build a new, right? The breaking down of the old to build a new. The number 7 is represent the transition, a transition. As you have Saturday, for example, that's the Sabbath day in Hebrew in the Bible. Sabbath is transition or translated into Sabbath, which is the seventh day, then transition into Sunday, the day of the sun, which is the first day of the week. So 7 always means a transition into new. But October, if you're, if you don't go by the Gregorian calendar, the October, the 8-month octagon, octopus, is the number 8 as well. And September, number 7, is scepter, is a transition into the number 7, which means also the Shemitah month. Shemitah month in the Bible is when we see Jubilee and you got 7 years again, number 7, transition. You got 7 years of plentiness and 7 years of famine. This is where President Trump came in, where he brought in great prosperity. He represented a very rich and wealthy president. He pumped the stock markets. You had 7 years of plentiness, especially after the 2008 housing market crash, right? Very fluent and prosperous economy. Now we're transitioning to the 7 years of famine as a transition out of cash into crypto. So now you have New York. This is why it's going to be unaffordable to live in New York and Cali. New York is also 111, and it's English ordinal, right? And it's English ordinal, and now you see the reset that's happening. The double 33, right? I haven't really just broken down numbers a lot, but people, what I am telling you all is here. And unfortunately, many people that did not invest in Bitcoin, particularly Bitcoin, they say that Bitcoin is a scam. That's because they didn't invest in it. But, like I tell people all the time, if Bitcoin is such a scam, then why every time that it crashes, right, big corporations always buy the dip? Why they always stock up? Why you have JP Morgan and Chase? Why do you have Goldman Sachs? Right? Why do you have these big numbers these big corporations that come in and buy the dip, but yet the people that's not educated on Bitcoin and its utility and use cases, are panic selling because it's just the lack of knowledge when it comes to that area. So again, you got New York, that's 1111. Also, you got the double 33. Number 33 is connected to certain promises made by God, right? For example, the 33rd time that Noah's name is used in scripture in the Bible is when God made a special covenant or promise with him. This was the external promises not to destroy the entire world again with the flood. And this was in Genesis chapter 9. And he sends the rainbow. He sealed this pledge with the sign of the rainbow. The 33rd time in the Bible where Abraham's name is used is when Isaac, the child of promise, is born to him. This is also in Genesis. And Abraham was 99 years old. So you got number 9 for the 49ers who gets the 3 points, right? For the win, whose name is gold as well. So 33 derives some meaning from the number 3 as well, as at 33 degrees. Oh, I haven't taught on this in a while, so let's get it right. 33 degrees ice is now melted and transformed into liquid. But you also have with New York 33 and the 111 code, because the product of 3 times 11 as well. And I tell people this all the time. That 3 times 11 also represents God's judgment, right? His final judgment of the world, right? And so now we're also going to break down the second coming of Christ in this as well. I told you this is a very deep and detailed live stream. So God's final judgment of the world, people, which is ultimately accomplished in the final 3.5 year. Now, 3.5 year is then translated to 1,260 days. The period leading up to the second coming of Christ. I'm going to get into that. Am I saying a rapture is coming? No, I'm not. And then the divine name of God, which is also known as Elohim, is mentioned in the first book of Genesis, chapter 1, exactly 33 times. In fact, Genesis 1:1 says, or translate, in the beginning, Elohim, which is plural for gods, right? And also 33, let me see if I still have my Gematria calculator up, but it's also equivalent to the word amen, right? And also the 33rd time that Jacob's name is found in scripture, when he promised to give a tenth to all he had to God, when he had a vision. This was through his pineal gland, his spiritual eye. He had a vision of a ladder reaching up to heaven. This is also, right, in Genesis. A lot of 33 references in Genesis. A lot of 33 references in Genesis. So the meaning of 33, I can go on and on about 33 and 11:11, right? But the last thing I'm going to tell you about 33, so we can get into the other topics, is 33 is also seen at the time of Jesus' death, at the age of 33, right? Also at the time of Jesus' death, at the age of 33. So let's get into the matrix. Let's get into the matrix, right? You're so right, right? Timberland Boots says, true, they buy the dips and other people panic sell, which is totally backwards. You become rich and wealthy by holding and buying the dips. I'm not a financial advisor, not giving you financial advice. I give you financial education here. But, and this is why I'm saying this, right? This is financial education, not financial advice. You become rich and wealthy. Wealthy in the sense where you have generational wealth to give to your children's children. When you have cash flow is queen. Redo, yeah. Cash flow is queen. Cash is trash. And crypto is king. Why am I saying cash is trash? Yes, you need it right now until this system is reset and the switch is flipped into the digital dollar and the Fed coin comes, right? And then they're going to bring it in because people are going to almost beg for it. They don't know what they're going to be asking for. So it's going to come. And again, people are going to beg for you. We have 34 thumbs up. Let's get those thumbs up. Let's get them up, get them up, get them up. So more people can come in. Everybody that's on the live stream. Um, People are going to beg for it because the dollar is going to lose so much purchasing power, meaning that prices are going to just skyrocket even more. And people are going to be like, I'm laboring for this dollar. I'm working hard. And, it's just not giving me the power to purchase like I am accustomed to. And people are going to definitely bring in a stable coin that seems to keep up with the rate of inflation. Inflation is the increasing of your pricing on your everyday goods and services, right? And people are going to just, I feel like I can exhale some, I can breathe because this is the answer, right? This is the answer to the economy. Not knowing, just like the Terminators, right? Just like the Terminator, that you're going to see machines versus man. Now let's get into Sophia Stewart. Thank you so much, Facebook. Thank you so much. Make sure you like and share too on Facebook. Let's get into Sophia Stewart, the writer of both The Terminator and The Matrix, a black woman, right? She is the writer of both The Terminator and The Matrix. Let me show you how The Matrix, or how she is able. We're going to listen to this interview. And keep in mind, this interview is 2 years old, 2 years ago. It's difficult, right? For you to find any interviews on her. So I'm glad I came across this. And let's break down of how this crypto system will work, how it will come in,
and
how it will manifest and overtake.
I'm doing well, thank you.
Anything resonated with you that you were listening to?
I loved it when you were talking about the fight. It reminded me of Muhammad Ali. He was a very, very great friend of mine. And the Neo character is actually created from him being a black superhero for us, a living one at that time, the late Muhammad Ali. Right. So that's why Will Smith, they wanted Will to play him because, Will played Ali in the movie with Spike Lee's, the Muhammad Ali story.
So listen, obviously the thing that I'm going to enjoy about this conversation with you today is that people talk about STEM, science, technology, engineering, and math, but you embody all those things.
Yes.
All those things. Where does that come from? I mean, you are a living example why STEM is so important. There's so many things that you understand about the cosmos, the universe, about math, about technology, about engineering, and also because that's what the Matrix is about.
Yes, it is. I came out with the first metaphysical movies, where you take science and you marry it to spirituality. So it's spirit and technology. That's what metaphysics is really about.
But where does it come from in your DNA? Your grandparents?
Well, my grandmother, full-blooded Cherokee, she was a shaman. So the oracle is actually created from me. I created those characters, and it's based on myself as a visionary seer. So I have a gift, but multiple gifts.
So how did you come up with the Terminator? Take us there and the Matrix, and just to put this from pen to pad. Now, it's one thing to have the idea, but it's
very easy. It was a script in a book. The Terminator is the prequels to the beginning of the Matrix. Sarah Connor is actually Neo's mother. So JC, John Connor's Jesus Christ grows up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix.
Okay, I'm gonna have to do some pausing because I want you all to really catch what she's saying. Now you have to have watched the Terminator and definitely, especially the 1999 Matrix, which is another 999, right? Symbolism as gold, number 9, kick the winning field goal for 3 points. I just wrote down 3 and 33. But she says John Connor of the Terminator and Sarah Connor is his mother, is JC, which is the return of Jesus Christ. Now, I'm not saying the rapture is happening. If you understand what Christ means, it's the crystals. It is your seven chakras. The crystals is the crown chakra where you are spiritual and light. Christ. Biblically, the name or word name Christ translates to the anointed one, as we have Neo, the one, and the anointing. I'm not talking about a rapture, people. I'm talking about the return of man consciousness, which is considered Christ. Actually, the rapture happened when Jesus died. In 3 days, I broke down the number 3. No, I didn't. I broke down really 33, right? The number 3 is the number for the 3 days of the resurrection of resurrection, right? Coming. It represents a completeness and it is to a lesser degree than 7. It is one of the first of 4 spiritually perfected numbers. The other numbers are 7, 10, and 12. Right? So the completeness to the 3rd power. That's why we had 33rd Masonry. So Jesus prayed 3 times a day in the Garden of Gethsemane, or Gethsemane, right? Gethsemane, and before his arrest 3 times, right? And he was placed on the cross on the 3rd hour, which translated to about 9 a.m. And he died at 3 p.m., which is the 9th hour. And there were exactly 3 hours of darkness. This is where we get the 3 times 3 times 3, the completeness to the 3rd power. 3 again is the number of resurrection, to restore the consciousness, the crystals of man. In the brain, you have what is called the classroom. This is why in schools they call it classroom, the classroom in the brain. And Christ, the crystals, was dead. A lot of people in it, for 3 days and 3 full nights, a total of 72 hours. Again, 7 plus 2 is 9. Number 9, gold. 49ers, 3 points. As we see that gold will be used to reset the currency system. Before being resurrected on a Saturday. He was resurrected on Saturday just before sunset, not Sunday, but I won't get into that. So when she says the return of Christ, this is the crystals, the Christ she's in reference to, right? I need you to have your spiritual minds, your pineal gland open on this, right? Not your religious mindset.
Self is a visionary seer. So I have a gift, but multiple gifts.
So how did you come up with the Terminator? Take us there in the Matrix and just to put this from pen to pad. Now, it's one thing to have the idea, but to take that.
It's very easy. It was a script in a book. The Terminator is the prequels to or the beginning of the Matrix. Sarah Connor is actually Neo's mother. So JC, John Connor's Jesus Christ, grows up to be Neo, one and the same in the Matrix. The Matrix is in the future. The Terminator is the past. It's time travel, past, present, and future time travel. It's the second coming of the Christ, the evolutions of consciousness, man versus the machine. So The machines, the Terminator.
Okay, the second coming of Christ and the evolution of man versus the machine, right? The evolution, the second coming of Christ, and the evolution of man versus the machine. Thank you so much for the cash app. Lanika, thank you so much for, I appreciate that. She says, teach queen. This really will help me teach, right? And so now, and I pray that returns to you, or I affirm. Sometimes I get my religion language. I've been in church a long time, right? Come from that background, but I affirm that will return to you 1,000 times more by divine right, according to Deuteronomy 1:11. I also affirm that the infinite spirit, infinite power, right, will have that come to you and by divine right, it is released now and reaches you under grace in a perfect way, right? So, what is the second coming of Christ, the Christos? Well, upon this Christos, right, there will be endless streams of deceptions. You can see this in Revelation chapter 13. In Revelation chapter 12, it talks about the crowns, the 12 crowns. That's why I go by, queen. One of the reasons. Revelation chapter 21, it talks about a new heaven and a new earth. And I myself thought this for a long time. I did. But this is not saying that there will be a physical transformation. This is not going to happen physically. What Revelation 21 is referring to is talking about this new technology system, a new evolution, right? So Revelation 13 talks about deception. Many people are going to be deceived, right? And then you have also the Antichrist, who's against the Christos, who wants authority, who wants to rule over the earth, right? But according to Revelations 12:12, the return of the Christos, and she talks about JC, Jesus Christ, John Connor in the Matrix, that Revelation 12:12 talks about this. But it will be interrupted by the return of Jesus. Revelation 12:12. You all go look that up. So now this Christos, man versus the machine, this new earthly transition of technology, what Tesla talked about, what he got from the ancient Egyptians, right? What the ancient Egyptian knowledge that he was able to interpret through energy, frequency, and vibration. That's why Tesla said the most powerful numbers in the world, in the earth realm, is 3, 6, 9. He says they hold the key to the universe, right? Numbers 3, 6, and 9. So let's return to this.
The machines here that a child is going to be born that's going to terminate them in the future when they oppress man. Because see, it's a man versus the machine. It's God's children versus man's children, which was technology.
So man versus nature.
Exactly. So the Terminator has to time travel to the past because they know it's Sarah Connor, and they have to kill her, terminate her, so she won't have the baby. And Kyle Reese, he comes from the future to protect her, and he inadvertently gets her pregnant. And he has to go back to the future. And so it's the Immaculate Conception, because now she's pregnant and she fell in love with a man, but did it really happen? Did he exist? And then this child, when you see the three Terminators, the boy, and then the man child, subconsciously, he doesn't know why the Terminator is trying to kill him until he's hidden out in the city, in the Matrix, the future. When he reaches 30 years of age, the rebellion, the reloaded, revolution starts. And the rebels come and they find him because they've been watching him all along. That's what the Guardians and the Sentinels are all about. And so they wake him up to his purpose. They take him to Morpheus to train him to fight the machines. They take him to the oracle because of the prophecy. So this is the whole epic story. It's an epic.
And it's some deep stuff. You know what it brings me to? See, you're the best person to ask to explain where we are today. President Trump, the Congress, the seemingly chaos. You look at this entirely different. You see it as a part of a bigger plan that was laid out some time ago.
In the future.
Yes, talk about
It's the future.
Put it in perspective for us.
Well, the mergings of the corporations. I'm talking about that in 1981 while I'm at USC Film School, where the corporations are going to eat up and merge with the smaller corporations. It's like what they're doing now.
Walmart
and AT&T
yeah.
taking Time Warner and Disney taking Fox, but that's because streaming is coming in. The studio's time has ended. Manually everything.
Okay, then she goes into Disney overtaking Tom Warner, overtaking Fox. She says the studio time is the time of the technology. This is why robots will take the jobs and replace people. This is a very deep and in-depth conversation. You have to be spiritually inclined. Yes, she did know her stuff. And she represents the oracle. She said the oracle in the matrix is her. Because she has this visionary gift. And it's called in the Bible a seer who's able to connect the past with the future. And this is why I'm going to bring in and teach you all how the Wizard of Oz, the past of that, right, is also telling you about the 49ers and the currency system reset and the silver shoes that Dorothy wore, right? So I don't want to get ahead of myself. Let's finish this out.
Corporations. I'm talking about that in 1981 while I'm at USC Film School, where the corporations are going to eat up and merge with the smaller corporations. It's like what they're doing now.
Walmart
and AT&T
yeah.
taking Time Warner and Disney taking Fox, but that's because streaming is coming in. The studio's time has ended. Everything manually has ended. Now, like the ebook.
She said manually everything has ended. And most people don't know that with the dollar, that's just it's already ended. She said manually, she said this is that Walmart is taking over. This is why you see Amazon and Jeff Bezos taking over. This is why, like she said, Disney taking over Fox. And AT&T and Verizon that's releasing 5G on a national scale, so harmful that it's interrupting airlines flight. It's taking over. Man versus machines. And again, I want to remind you, this was aired 2019, April of 2019. This is not a recent interview by Sophia Stewart, the writer of The Matrix and the Terminator.
Like streaming, you don't have any overhead. You can make trillions and billions of dollars. So you don't need to go to a movie theater and sit there and watch a movie anymore when you can have all this at your house. And you can watch any movie and you can watch it 10 or 20 times and you have surround sound or Dolby or whatever you want. So you don't have to go. The theaters will be just a specialty for someone who especially want a date or something and pay $150 to come in and watch a movie of their choice, while they're being wined and dined with food and so forth. But that's all going out, the way it is now, like how we go to it. It's empty now, all the theaters are. In the studios, they don't understand what streaming is. And this is why Amazon is worth $147 billion. And Netflix is so wealthy. And AT&T is going to be a big streamer also. But they need content. So this is why they bought Time Warner, so they can take this content and feed their clients, their customers. Do you see what I'm
Oh
talking about?
yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you.
Yeah. So this is what's going to happen in the future. When the satellites come in, this is when it's going to be trillions of dollars, because the satellites is 7 billion people on Earth. The satellites can zoom into all of the countries and get all of these people to watch, you know what I'm talking about, on their tablets, on their iPhones, iPads. You know what I'm talking
So
about?
why because this plays into why this sudden mental change on Facebook. Where is Facebook now a threat where they need to regulate them and shut them down?
Facebook is nothing but a database for the CIA. That's all it is. It has all of your family's pictures, all of your friends. It has all the information. They used it here in Vegas when they had that car accident. Remember when the Maserati right by the Cromwell, when that happened right there? Well, all they did was take camera footage from Caesars, Bally's, and other casinos. And they went and they took this footage and they got the license plates. And then they saw that the guy did, California. He rented that Range Rover. And after they did that, they went to social network and they found his girlfriend on Twitter. So they found his picture. And then they went to LA because they knew they were from LA, put his picture on a $250,000 billboard and put a reward up for him for $25,000. And they got him within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, because of the technology.
So how do you advise people to share their image, their data?
There's not going to be any more privacy. Everything is camera down. Everything is caught on camera. And this is what it's going to be about in the future. Virtual reality that I'm explaining in The Matrix and Terminator. Everything is going to be, so now it's going to be so easy. You're not going to have any more paper passports. It's just going to be where you come into the airport. They're going to scan you, your body, retinal, fingerprints, the whole 9 yards.
This is what Clear is about.
That's right.
Airport, that's what Clear, yeah.
This way, nobody has to alter paper and put a picture.
Do you all hear what she's saying? This was 2019, this interview, before C19 came into play. She said it will be no more paper, and that's why it won't be any more paper money. They're going to scan you, no paper passports. I put the link in the comments, right? No paper passports. They're going to be scanned. This is before C19 came. This lady is a seer. She can see the past. She can see the future. And she saw it way back in as early as 1999 when she wrote The Matrix, or when The Matrix was first released. So it was well before 1999. And she wrote The Terminator. And she talks about John Connor and JC. And he was the chosen one who then became Neo as well. And The Matrix, the one, right? Which they asked Will Smith to play that part first, right? A black man before. But just listening to what she's telling you.
They were from LA, put his picture on a $250,000 billboard and put a reward up for him for $25,000. And they got him within 2 weeks. Within 2 weeks, because of the technology.
So how do you advise people to share their image, their data?
There's not going to be any more privacy. Everything is camera down. Everything is caught on camera. And this is what it's going to be about in the future. Virtual reality that I'm explaining in The Matrix and Terminator. Everything is going to be, so now it's going to be so easy. You're not going to have any more paper passports. It's just going to be where you come into the airport. They're going to scan you, your body, retinal, fingerprints, the whole 9 yards.
This is what Clear is about.
That's right.
Airport, that's what Clear, yeah.
This way, nobody has to alter paper and put a picture or a name on there, because they have your bone structure, they have your eyes, they got your fingerprints. This is the database, and they match you up You see what I'm saying? And you go through. So that way no terrorists can come through and pretend to be somebody or somebody that they're looking for that's the most wanted. You see what I'm saying? Because all of this technology is going to start ruling. It's artificial intelligence. It's going to start ruling everything. Once the satellites come into play that I'm talking about, there's maybe another 5 to 10 years from now, they're really going to play a phenomenal part, because this is why Apple and Microsoft became the billion-dollar, trillion-dollar babies, is because IBM and Xerox didn't know what a mouse was. A mouse meaning they didn't know what the internet was going to be. You see what I'm talking about? They didn't want to move into that technology. The studios don't know what streaming is. They got pissed off because Netflix didn't know what a mouse was. That I'm talking about, there's maybe another 5 to 10 years from now, they're really going to play a phenomenal part, because this is why Apple and Microsoft became the billion-dollar, trillion-dollar babies, is because IBM and Xerox didn't know what a mouse was. A mouse meaning they didn't know what the internet was going to be. You see what I'm talking about? They didn't want to move into that technology. The studios don't know what streaming is. They got pissed off because Netflix paid $50 million and got 3 or 4 Oscars for the movie Roma, but it was never shown in the movie theaters at all. It was watched.
And that's why Steven Spielberg and all of it. You know, when we come back,
Yes.
I'm going to have some of my crew to join you, my technical people, to ask these questions. But
Wow, powerful. And I don't know if you all know, but IBM they made commercials 10 years ago about, with IBM, the wireless shopping and the shoplifting commercial. This was like 10 years old that they said the RFID commercial, the future of supermarket. Let me pull that up real quick, right? And so people, this is nothing new. They also made the RFD, the self-driving trucks commercial. I actually, the future supermarket, shared that on my channel. So let me pull that up. Just a couple of days ago, I shared that link so you all can watch that. And I don't think what people know that this is old, and people are not preparing, right? I also note what she said about Facebook, and it's been the CIA. You got people now that's saying that their activities outside of Facebook is being stored in Facebook. Like whatever they do on Google or the internet, wherever they shop from, Facebook is keeping records of that. So this is why I'm helping people get a work from home opportunity, as this is also the great resignation. This is why I'm teaching people cash is not king anymore. It once was, when it was backed by gold, when it was known as the petrodollar and backed by oil. And I'm telling people that assets are queen. A home-based business is an asset, and cash flow is king. Now, people, cash is just pawn. You need to invest until you broke. You need to grow your cash flow and grow your assets. You need assets over everything. Your salary is not income. You cannot save your way to wealth. And you have to be prepared for this shift. It is your revenue. Your salary is not your income, right? So you want a pipeline of passive income, not just a pile created from active income. People, it's the difference between active income or earned income, which is also known as earned income credit, right? That in order to qualify, you have to be at a low income threshold that's called EIC, earned income credit, just to get thousands of back from the government. Well, people, it is time now to burst past that ceiling, that threshold. It is time now to be a part of the greatest wealth transfer, because it is machine versus man. And you need your crystals, your Christ, the second coming of Christ. You need to illuminate that. You need it elevated. It's time out for lower level thinking. It's time out that I want to stay comfortable. It's time out for not having a financial education. And I don't even know if I have time in this live stream to cover the Wizard of Oz. I have to do it briefly. But this is the 10-year-old commercial that I was telling you all about. My internet. Let's see. This is why Bill Gates is heavily invested in talking about, the pandemic.
Would you kindly tell me what you're doing in the road?
I'm with the help desk. You're lost. You're headed to Fresno.
Fresno, right.
This is the road to Albuquerque.
How'd you know we were lost?
The boxes told me.
The boxes?
RFID radio tags on the cargo. Helps track shipments.
The boxes knew we were lost. Maybe the boxes should drive. Very funny.
That's 10 years old. You can tell by the video quality. So let me shift now. I've talked about the Terminator and the Matrix. I'm going to try to do this in 10 minutes about the deeper meaning behind the Wizard of Oz and 49ers win and the Bucks and the Bills losses. And as the IMF chief says that, that this is going to be a horrible year economically. This is why the Chiefs won as well. And then you have the LA Rams, which shows financial deficit, a financial that had to pay $760 million to relocate from St. Louis to LA, which shows a relocation. And they rank the fourth highest in the NFL for dead money. Right? So let's talk about the Wizard of Oz, as it is a representation. Just the word Oz means ounces. Is which what you have gold and silver measured in ounces, right? Gold and silver is measured in ounces. So Oz is abbreviation for ounces. So the allegory is hidden mysteries, right? The Bible is full of allegories, mysteries, metaphysical, as Sophia Stewart talked about. Metaphysical is the combination of the spiritual and the technology world. So now you have the scarecrows that represents the farmers, right? This was like in 1890 of the Wizard of Oz. So the scarecrows represents the farmers. And what happened was the farmers wanted silver to be continually backed by gold, because you had silver certificates, as well as gold certificates. So the elite, the powers that be, removed silver. This is why Dorothy wore silver shoes, from the convertibility of gold. So during this time, you could take the paper currency and it would read, if you all can see this, $1 silver You would take it to the bankers. It was a lightweight way for what is real money. And then you had, now you see just dollars on cash. Then you would have gold certificates as well. So it will read silver certificates and gold certificates. Now it reads dollar, right? But if you look at this one, you see what a gold certificates, that what it looks like. See, it used to have gold certificates right on that. And if you look at the serial numbers on your fiat currency, fiat means let it be so. You know, it's Latin for we say it's money, so it's money. If you look at your serial numbers on your dollars, you look at the back of your social security card, it looks the same. In red, because you're no longer a person, you're collateral. So the farmers, because they would use debt, they would use loans to buy seeds in the springtime to plant seeds and fertilizer to plant. And then they would not make their money until the fall when the harvest would come in. But their money had devalued because people were buying their harvest or their food or their products back, or big, corporations back from them to sell in supermarkets at devalued dollars, mean that it had lost its purchasing power. And so when they removed silver, which is, again, in the movie, Dorothy has on ruby red shoes, but in the original book, they were silver. The movie changed it to ruby red just so it can be more visible. So the yellow brick road represents the gold. And this is where 49ers come in, and gold hit, the 3 points for the winning field goal. And so the farmers said, we need this debt. We need to be able to get loans. But when they removed silver from it, it made dollar scarcity. That means that it was harder and more difficult for them to get these loans that they needed to operate their business. And so the Tin Man workers, or the Tin Man represents workers in the steel industry. As you had the Henry Fords, the maker of the Ford vehicles, you had your manufacturers, you had J.P. Morgan and Chase, you had the oil industry booming and the steel industry booming. Now, the cowardly lion, who was a coward, if you know the original context of it, he had to drink from a green and gold cup, liquid, to get his courage, to get the courage back. Also, in the Emerald City, let me refer to my notes. In the Emerald City, everyone had to wear green glasses held in place with a golden band. So this represents, so you can see the world through the color of money, a more acceptance of money, right? For the people that didn't want to push the issue. You had people that fought for gold and silver to remain as the standard of real money. And then you had people that were cowardly and just didn't want to rock the boat. And these were usually the poorest people, right? It's always amazing that the people that's struggling financially are the ones that will not speak up or make any changes, even when they see the shift is coming. They're acting as the cowardly lion, right? And so now you have the cyclone, and you also have the tornado that also, when Dorothy was relocated and transitioned out of Kansas, and Kansas is another standard of gold and silver itself. But the tornado and the tornado represents the silver standard as well. And the cyclone or the tornado represents a quick political change. A quick change is coming. And so in the book, there were actually 4 witches, but in the movie they just had the wicked, was it 1 or 2? I don't know if it was just the wicked witch of the north and the south, right? But the Wicked Witch of the West, I mean, in the book you had the Wicked Witches of the North, South, East, and West. But in the movie of the Wicked Witch of the West, that represent the American frontier, right? And then again, the yellow brick road represents the gold standards. Now, the Munchkins in the movie, which Dorothy saves, represents the poor citizens, the little people. They weren't taller than 12 inches tall. And again, ours is the abbreviation for ounce, which is how you weigh the gold and silver standard. And then you have the yellow winkies in there that represents China, as the IMF is talking about. IMF chief is talking about China's economic system is slowing down as well. So this is where you get the China, and this is where 5G was first released. And this is why, they said it was a prejudice statement, but President Trump was calling it the China virus. And this is when C-19, the hub of it. So the Wizard of Oz is showing the Chinese laborers through the yellow winkies. Then you have again the silver slippers. Now, what brought Dorothy home? What did she have to do? And how many times did she have to do it, if I'm not mistaken? Right? 3 times she had to click her silver slippers. Now, I'm not saying the 49ers are going to win that championship. I'm not saying that, because you still have the Chiefs that represents the IMF in this. The Rams represents a financial disaster, right? It will shock me if they allow them to win. If they do win, it's definitely going to be a forecast of a financial disaster. But the NFL team that's playing now is showing you symbolism, right, of what's going to happen. And so when your Christos returns, your human spirit is now elevated. You can prepare for this because the shift is happening. You have to have the spiritual eye. You have to have the illumination. Again, ice is then transitioned into water at exactly 33 degrees. And so you have to know, as former President Trump says, what is the true invisible enemy is. And you have to make those moves, not just in wealth moves, but in health moves as well. So I've broken down a lot tonight. I'm going to leave it short in order to, have people, getting their views in. But I'm gonna break down some 11:11 scriptures. And thank you. Someone just gave another cash out. Let me get that name. And I pray that returns to you by divine right, by infinite spirit. Paula Burns, thank you. With peace, right? And with peace and good to all that's concerned. So I'm going to close this looking at 2 scriptures, Revelations 11 and 18. And the 11:11 code, I wrote down 11:11 code, I wrote down the number 7, I wrote down the number 8. If you didn't get that, you need to watch the replay. You need to watch this again. Even if you did get it, right? Listen, I'm not on here to talk about sports from a sports perspective. I'm trying to educate you all about how this economic system is going to reset, and sports is showing you that. I'm not one of those people, right? I mean, if you want to bet on and win money, because you see the hidden messages in the sporting game, then, that's you. But I'm not on here to roo-ha about who's going to win. I don't care. I look at it from an economic position. So Revelation 11:18, the nations were angry. Your wrath has come. The time has come for judging the dead and for rewarding your servants and prophets and your people who revere your name, both small and great, and for destroying those who destroy the earth. Right? And so, people, What I'm saying is that the two witnesses, this was a part of the resurrection as the part of the first resurrection conducted before the Christos, before Jesus returned, right? That brought back light to all of those who possess God's spirit. And let me tell you something about the Terminator, the rise of the machines. Let me tell you something about that. If you all watch the Terminator, the rise of the machines, you're going to see that the robots, the machine, wanted JC, John Connor's pure blood, the pure blood that have not been impaired. And this is why many people, again, I'm not giving you financial advice or health advice, but this is why many people were against the jab because of the mRNA, right? And so Revelations 11 and 10, I talked about the 3.5 years, which represent 1,260 days. And those who dwell on earth will gloat over them and celebrate and send another gift because the two prophets tormented them, as Revelations 11 and 10. This change from flesh people to immortal spirit. This is what, and yes, JC, which is, she said, Jesus, the return of Christ and Christos. Let me put it up. Instantaneous change from flesh to immortal spirit. Revelation 11 and 10. 111 code. Inhabitants of the earth will gloat over them, right? And by sending each other gifts, because these two prophets have tormented them who live on earth. And God entered the two witnesses and stood on their feet. And this is the next verse. And those who fear him fell upon him. Right? So people, you have to prepare a plan. As Nehemiah 8 and 10 says, go and eat what is rich, drink what is sweet, and send out portions to those who have nothing prepared, since today is the holy day to the Lord. People, you got to prepare for this. It is here. You should be preparing, as there also still a supply chain issue. Less foods available in certain areas, certain grocery stores. I'm not saying all, but certain areas, certain grocery stores. And my last thing I want to show you is the Terminator has how it does show. If I can find the videos, let me see. Let me find that video. I uploaded on my backup channel. And well, okay, I won't have the sound with it because I don't want to get a copyright, but it might show the copyright anyway. And we're logging out. We're logged off. So I won't show the give you the sound. Thank you so much. I love you all as well. Love you all. Make sure you hit the thumbs up so that people can definitely want to watch the replay. And here it is. This is the Terminator, the rise of machines. And the very first thing that the clip that I showed, man versus machine, cash versus crypto, is they already talked about a supervisor. This says over widespread outages, but in the global digital network. This is Terminator, Rise of the Machines. So, if you watched it, I think it's still available on Netflix. It starts out with that. And then you see, you're going to see the next transition. This is a very short clip of this woman was a machine. She breaks into the lab. You can see her scanning and she John Connor, JC, Jesus Christ, was in there. He was bleeding, and that is blood right there. He's hiding in this lab, in this lab. He and the doctor that was in there, they're hiding as machine broke in. And upon the scan, she's scanning it and able to tell the DNA of it. This is the lady hiding here, the doctor, and now she's tasting it. Pure blood, analyzing DNA sample is going on now. And there's the DNA source she was able to find. Yep. Man versus machine. Robots replacing, taking the place, replacing people. Artificial intelligence, all what the ancient Egyptians predicted, being able to see the past and the future simultaneously and putting it together like I did on this live stream. So I'm logging off. I'm doing these live stream. Okay, Brandon, I'm just not seeing this. It can be very spiritually draining as well because of the energy I have to give out to give them. I hope you all watch this more than once. Also, you need your cash flow up. Thank you. Thank you everyone that gives the cash out, because thank you, Philip. Philip is in the home-based business with me, if I'm not mistaken, Philip. Is that correct? Thank you for the cash out. And again, as I always affirm and state, that the infinite spirit, infinite power, right, will have that return to you according to Deuteronomy 1:11, 1,000 times more, and bless you by divine right. It is now released and reaches you under grace in a perfect way. So thank you all so much for the cash apps and supporting the information and the knowledge, the time and energy and vibration, because it takes time to research this stuff. I know I can pack it in an hour, but it took hours and hours. So thank you. That supports the channel as well. Thank you so much, Beard Gang. He says, shalom. Thank you. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much. Every time I see your picture, your avatar pic, I just be thinking, I wonder, does he have some type of beard company or something that is a nice avatar picture? So, they sell products now for beards and all this different stuff, conditioners and stuff like that, cleansers, and help you grow it thicker and make it darker, or however way people want their beards, right? So I'm signing out again. If you are needing to work from home opportunity, text 254-788-1144. It's a $99 limited time discount off the regular investment price to the normal investment cost. The best investment you can make is in yourself and into an asset in a home-based business. As we're changing this currency system, tax refunds will be delayed. So you need extra cash flow. So we're having a great resignation. Now is the time to get in. That ends at the end of January. If you need credit help, that's only $79. Text credit to that number 254-788-1144. Text credit. It's no setup fee. Just $79.99 a month. Right? You cannot beat the opportunity for credit and cash flow. So I'm signing out, you all. Stay healthy and wealthy. Queen out.